Um, the thoughts cross my mind. Obviously, I think it's pretty limited, right, in terms of like how much can one person actually do and create. Even musicians have a really hard time becoming wealthy. If you look at some of these musicians, a lot of them, like Kanye West, is obviously troubled right now, but he made more money in shoes and clothing than he did in music. And I think that that's often the case, right? Rihanna is similar. Music's almost like an afterthought. And so even for the most successful media people in music and things like that, even actors want to do direct to consumer products. Like they're making more money in business than they are in media. So I think this like fame and attention thing is really nice to have. But like if you really want to make a lot of money, media, podcast, stuff like that is not, not the way to do it. If you want to enjoy the fame and the attention, sure, then there's plenty of that. There's so many people I've noticed on Twitter that are really really successful. They have a couple thousand followers, if that. But they're a zillion times more successful than you've got anonymous accounts, parody accounts that have a million followers that have more attention, but they're just not. They're not real business people. So we're living in a world of bifurcated value and attention, where you can have tons of attention and no real value other than entertainment value, which is value, but it's not the same thing as like you could have one of the greatest software developers with 1,000 Twitter followers, or one of the greatest biochemists or whatever, people who could really provide a ton of value, and then somebody completely useless in my eyes, still has a million followers. It's just a funny world that we live in, and I think if you want to prioritize one of those two things, it's pretty obvious which one you'd rather prioritize in my eyes. But ever to each their own, right? So for me, I think the having a podcast and kind of doing all that, like a lot of that just sort of ends up being attention, getting attention. I think to the extent that it can be coupled with like a product or something like that. Like one of the reasons I was really interested in doing an investing podcast series is I was working on some investing software at the time, and I sort of thought that would dovetail pretty well. And so who knows what the future will hold, but like I think the connecting with an audience is really important in today's world, no matter what you're doing, right? And we've seen that with Elon. We've seen that with the old T-Mobile CEO, who used to be really out there and seemingly pretty effectively. Like there are ways to sort of connect with your customers and stuff like that could provide sort of a win-win scenario. All right, I'm getting a bunch of questions on YouTube, so I might read one or two out. Somebody's asking me if I'm still friends with Destiny. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's an online streamer. I don't know a lot about him. He is just somebody I'd rather just sort of forget exists. There's so many people online that are like parasitic, and will use you for whatever audience and clicks they can get, and then move on. So I'll move on. What do you think about M&Ms having a gender? M&Ms are candy, so they can't have a gender. So I'll leave that there. Martin, will you have to pay the court order? I don't think so. We'll see. Can you use the same software to tell the future or the past? I don't think you can tell the future with software. Have you considered investing into development of publishing or gaming studios outside of the publicly listed companies? Yeah, I've thought about it. Gaming studios are a little like movie studios. There's a lot to do with it, at least on the AAA side. But I like kind of the smaller side. Did you win the FTC case? No, I actually lost the FTC case on the district court level, but the ruling was so embarrassing and bad that I think that we're shoo-in to get a reversal at the circuit court level, the appeals court. And if not, maybe even the Supreme Court. So we'll see how that goes. Is Crypto Thugs still active? Great question. I'm out of prison. Crypto Thugs was a prison. Somebody referred to it as a gang, and I thought that was really annoying. Just because a couple of people get together and discuss something in prison, and all those people, maybe except for one, are minorities doesn't make it a gang. Like, it's such a weird thing the feds do a lot. Like, they referred to one of my friends' groups as a gang, and he's like, they even gave them a name. They called them the Elm Street Wolves, and he's like, dude, we would never call ourselves something that corny. Like, it was so funny to me that there's this sort of like projection. I had a group of friends, and we joked that we were the crypto thugs. But one of these reporters wrote that it was a gang, just to make it like look bad or seedy. I'm was really upset with that. I have to go back and see who did that and call them out a little bit. But yeah, crypto thugs will never die. I really enjoyed the time I spent with my handful of buddies in prison, talking about something really intellectual, and really fun. And I talk to those guys every now and then, and I'm just waiting for them to get out and looking forward to that. Some of the dudes I was with in prison are doing really well now that they're home. Some of them are not doing so well, but regardless, I'm really happy to see them flourishing, and especially my boy D Block, who's one of the people that are doing really, really well. Were you raped in prison? Great question. So I answer this a lot. There were 4 prison levels of security. The lowest one is called the prison camp. The second lowest one is called the low. I was at the low level. Then there's the medium and the penitentiary. The penitentiary is the place where people can get raped. The other 3 levels, it's very, very rare. If basically, I would say never happens. So there was nobody being raped where I was. There was consensual homosexual sex, which is not something I partook in, if that was your question. But there was you didn't need to rape somebody in the prison I was in. There was plenty of gay people around. So yeah, anyway, do you like soccer? If yes, which team do you support? I don't like soccer. I don't really watch it. Don't really care for it. Anybody here wants to request a question? Feel free to join in. Let's see. Gay for the stay. There are people who are gay for the stay. I was not gay for the stay. I only did 4.5 years. Didn't need to switch my sexuality just for that. Anybody want to join in and chat? You don't have to ask a question. You can just chill with me. Any thoughts on Jason and David getting hired at Twitter? I mean, it's not uncommon when somebody buys a company to hire the people they like and trust to work there, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He owns it. He can do what he wants.